Hey gang, 6620 here. I want to make this very quick because so much of what we do in 6620 is like what we did in 6610, but there's a few changes that I've made and I want to go over those. So please watch the video entirely. So let's go to Blackboard and let's bring up our class. Just like before, go to Content, and as the week, I should say as the semester unfolds, or more weeks of videos. But what I want to talk about in this video, as you would expect, would be the class syllabus. So let's bring that up. A lot of the same kinds of stuff we did in 6610, but more sophisticated techniques and a little difference. I don't want all that stuff. All right, no updates. I just want to view and go over this with you. Where is full screen? All right. Guys, nothing's changed. I have office hours in case you want to call or, if you're close to campus, heck, come see me. The Google Hangout sessions are always an option, but you do those, just have to request them and we'll make arrangements to do that. The big thing that we do in 6620 is we get into, again, more sophisticated things that we will use in education research. If I were thinking about the class threefold, I would say that first of all we get into MANOVA, MANCOVA, some categorical data analysis. So we kind of build on the concepts or the statistical techniques that we took a look at in 6610. The second part of the class is going to be a very thorough review of logistic regression. In quantitative research, or I should say in math ed research, in education related research, logistic regression is a technique that comes up a lot. So we're going to jump into it and learn far more than you probably ever cared to know about logistic regression. The third part is going to be the classical test theory and item response theory. This is actually what my PhD was all about, so it's something I really, really, really like. It's called measurement theory. So, in ed research, if you're going to use an instrument, in fact, I'm going through this with one of my students who's doing her PhD in nursing through Duquesne. I'm on her doctoral advisory committee. She's in a situation where she's using an instrument, and the instrument that she is using is not something that's been used previously in research. She's kind of created her own. Well, there are certain standards, there are certain rules that we have for using these types of instruments in research, and most of you will be using some sort of instrument in your master's thesis. Research. So it's an important part. So again, twofold, we build on threefold. We build on statistical techniques from 6610. We look at very thoroughly at logistic regression, and the third thing we do is we examine the concepts of test theory and how we use tests and instruments in education research. All right, so we're going to use R again. Textbook. There are two textbooks that are actually three in this case. There's one down here that I use for the Intro to Research and Education, but the two biggies would be Andy Field, Discovering Statistics Using R, and Tabishnik and Fidel, which is two female authors, which they kind of set the standard here. This is kind of the Bible with a little b, obviously. In education statistics. Computer hardware, guys, I'm not going to go through all this. I want to keep this as brief as possible. The course structure, Blackboard access, it's all, like it was before. For example, when I go to your Blackboard site, you can see that, again, week number 1's been posted, and you've got 3 videos that you got to watch on MANOVA, which is multiple analysis of variance. What happens when we get 2 dependent variables or 3 dependent variables that are highly correlated? How do we handle that in examining ANOVAs. So, more about that there. All right, guys, going on down, email, make sure that you have your up-to-date email account, technical assistance. Okay, now let's get down to the good stuff. Graded course activities. I'm changing things up a little bit. First of all, there's going to be only 3 assignments instead of 4, so that should make you happy. Typically, I think the first assignment is going to be somewhere around the 5th week. The second will be somewhere around the 10th week. And the third will be somewhere around the end of the semester. You still have 2 on-campus sessions that you have to attend. And Dr. Whitaker and Dr. Desario and I, who are teaching the graduate level courses this semester, will coordinate to have those meetings on the same Saturdays. So 2 Saturdays you have to come to campus. One thing you're going to see different, I'm going to require you to keep a notebook on the videos. One thing that just irritates me and just slightly pisses me off is when I notice, and I recognize this in 6610 with some of you, you weren't even watching the videos, you were just watching them when it came time to do the assignments. I'm going to hold you accountable here. So 10% of your final grade is going to be the notebook that you are going to show me at our 2 on-campus visits. Now, that's not what the 2 parts represents. The 2 parts represents that I want you to have part 1 in the front of the notebook pertaining to the notes taken from watching the videos. The second part are the R command codes. I want that in a back section because, guys, again, what are we doing? The overarching goal of this class is kind of twofold. I want to teach you some stats, but secondly, I want to get you prepared for this master's thesis experience. And there's going to be so much that I'm going to throw at you that you're just not going to remember. And having a notebook at your disposal, or at least conveniently accessible to you, is going to be very helpful when we start that. So, I mean, really, there's not much need to go into everything again because you've had me now for 6610, so you know really much, the way that I do my classes. Letter grade assignments have shifted a little bit. I used to go 80 to 100 in 6610. Well, I'll still go 80 to 100 in 6610. This material's tougher, so I've downgraded it a little bit from 75 to 100 for an A, 50 to 74 for a B, and so on and so forth. Guys, if you can't achieve 24%, well, it's not going to be good. All right, gang. I don't know. Not really much else to talk about. Class will be just like before. The only difference is you have this this notebook that's required, and you only have 3 assignments instead of 4, which should make you smile. Guys, have a great day, and make sure you watch those videos. Make sure you stay up to date, and keep that notebook current and very thorough. It's going to come in, pay huge dividends when you start your master's thesis and start examining and analyzing data. All right, take care.